Jesse.
Thank you, Jennifer. Come, Holy Spirit, kindle in us the fire of your love. Send forth your Spirit, and we shall be created, and you shall renew the face of the earth. This is the meaning of the word invocation: to call on earnestly, to make an appeal, to summons for inspiration or guidance. Come, Holy Spirit, kindle in us the fire of your love. Send forth your Spirit, and we shall be created, and you shall renew the face of the earth. A sweeping statement of faith and a reminder that a conversion of heart, even in challenging times, is possible. Renewal is possible, not just in our own hearts, but across the world. And you, Lord, shall renew the face of the earth. And this renewal is possible not by us alone, by our own doing, but with God. And thus we call to God, we cry out to God, Lord, we invoke your presence. And we ask you to kindle in us the fire of your love. Because you, Lord, are love, and love, our love, is the key to the conversion of the heart, the mending of relationships, and peace on earth. Make this club in your image, an image of service and compassion, servants to children, protectors of the poor, the vulnerable, the suffering. Let us tune our ears to their cry as we go out into the world, not alone, but two by two as a club, in fellowship, mentoring our youth, comforting the bereaved, and providing medical technology to heal the sick. And with you, let us renew the face of the earth. In your name, O Lord, we pray for peace. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Jesse. All right, introduction of guests. I see we have with us our past district governor, Rick Bricker. We have our assistant district governor, Don Peterson. I do not see Gloria Mink, our executive secretary. Nor do I see our district training committee member, Jill Carlson, or district crisis committee, Don Ryan. Are there any other guests? Anybody have a guest with them today?
What's for lunch?
All right. Seeing none. Rotary related announcements. Does anybody have any Rotary related announcements?
Yesterday was Buford's birthday.
I have an announcement. Paula has been working very hard on the directory and getting that updated to a digital one. So she sent out an email to everyone. So if you need to look up contact information, you can do it right on Club.
I noticed.
I'm sorry. Wanted to add?
Yeah, if you let me know, I will mark you off. Otherwise, I might be sending out a couple little emails in the future to everybody, or I'll have Heather do it, because it is handy and we can kind of help you get connected if you're having trouble. I know Heather just helped a ton of people, and so have I. So keep up the good works, guys.
I noticed on there they track what emails you open, so be careful.
Guess I wasn't careful.
Thanks, Paula and Heather, for your work on that. I think it will be so nice and handy. Thanks so much. Are there any other Rotary related announcements? I do have one. Just a reminder, I think I mentioned it last week also, with the goal to do at least one service project every quarter. We are slated to do the outreach program on March 16th. That is normally our club meeting. So they were not available for us to help them in February, but we are on their calendar for March 16th. We're gonna need about 20 to 25 people. Please mark your calendar for that date. And I'm gonna try to start coordinating that probably sooner rather than later to make sure that we have the people available that they need.
What will we be doing, Jennifer?
So we're helping prepare meals. And there are 3 lines, and they need, I can't remember exactly, I think they needed 5 to 8 people per line. I'll have more information to follow. Any other Rotary related announcements? All right, seeing or hearing none. I see Andy Rangan is with us, our Sergeant at Arms. So Andy, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right, so a couple of items here. I know that the Vikings are long since gone, but I've got a happy dollar in that my wife is from Missouri, and Kansas City Chiefs headed back to the Super Bowl. Saw a pretty cool picture of Tom Brady won his first Super Bowl the same year that Patrick Mahomes was in kindergarten. So that's a pretty big deal. But yeah, we're all in at our house. The Chiefs are, I think my kids are wearing Chiefs clothes from now and through the Super Bowl, probably the same ones over and over again. But a lot of excitement there. And then I'm going to also do a quick share here. Quickly. So I spent 3 hours in the car with my kids on Sunday. They got to have their first swim meet, so that was a big deal. My younger daughter was swimming while these two were watching it, so you could watch it online, and then they would run in and out of the Y and make it all happen. But just the fact that they got to have a swim meet at all and all this, they were pretty excited, so that was good. And then my last photo to share here is on Gilbert Lake. There's been a group that has kind of slowly taken on more and more trail grooming, and the use of the trail has been pretty awesome this year, especially. But they've got, I think, about 7 or 8 miles of nice wide trail groom now that goes all the way around all the shoreline. I don't know if you fellow Gilbert Lake folks are in the club here, but if anybody ever wants to come and ski or bike or walk or anything, it goes right by the landing as well. So it's some pretty nice pictures and view of everything when and a lot of people out and about on it, which is really fun. I'll stop with that and open it up for anyone else who would like to share anything.
Andy, this is Paula. I will do a screen share. We were out at Rotary Park. Mark and I were out at Rotary Park on over the weekend and ran across this hut that is out there. Kids put it together last fall. I just thought it was kind of cool that here we are in the city of Brainerd, and we have allowed children to actually play and set up a pretty good fort out there. And I just think it's cool that we're able to do that. So back to you.
That's great. My kids have probably played in that fort too.
Andy, Jim Roloff's here. First off, happy birthday to Dave Schaefer. And
Thank you.
The other thing is sharing my screen here. I'm trying this. Can you see a grouse on the screen?
Not yet.
All right.
There we go.
How about
When
that?
you switch to this thing, it took my picture away.
Okay, this
Last week too.
sorry, this grouse has been showing up in my yard in this crabapple tree. And yes, last week I was able to get a photograph of it. That's it.
That's great.
Anyway,
I've got a happy dollar. I got to meet Jeff Clausen at CRMC. He is our new orthopedic surgeon in town. He is actually the first #1 fellowship trained doctor ever to come out of the Mayo program in shoulders. And so we had drinks on Thursday, and we actually spent the day Friday together looking at some property with him. He wanted me to show him around town a little bit. And super nice guy, and it'll be a huge advantage. I have that in Brainerd for the revisions and the more complicated cases. Todd could speak to this, but I think he's just seen shoulder and elbow, and that's all he sees unless you come to the ER or something like that. But classy guy. His dad was a doctor at Mayo, and he started at Mayo. But like I said, the first ever guy to go through the fellowship program at Mayo for shoulders. And so now we have him and Eric both fellowship trained there. It's kind of neat.
Thank you, Trevor. I appreciate that endorsement, and thanks for spending time with him. We're now head to toe in orthopedics.
Yeah, they worked on that line.
Yeah, it's $1. It's $1 for that joke.
This is Rod Osterloh. I'd like to share my screen if I can here.
There you go.
On Saturday, Jody and I will be celebrating our 50th wedding anniversary. So this happens to be a photo of when we actually got married in 1971.
It's great.
That's a great picture. Andy, I have a couple of happy dollars if you'll bear with me a minute. First of all, although it doesn't look like it from my background, City Hall reopened yesterday to the public. I decided to come home and do Rotary from home so I could have lunch at the same time, but we are thrilled to be back at City Hall. My second happy dollar, and I am going to share my screen. You know, this is not political, but I have really enjoyed all of the Bernie Sanders memes that are going around. And so I see that somebody joined and put Bernie Sanders on top of the Brainerd water tower. I don't get credit for this. I just happened to see it. And also,
That's a good place for him.
And also, he also joined Paul Bunyan and Babe. These were just a couple of Brainerd specific ones that I saw. So anyway, you know, when all else fails, at least find something to laugh at. And then my third happy dollar is on Sunday night, Mark and I took my mom and a friend of hers out to the igloos at Grandview, which was really, really cool. If you haven't had the opportunity to take advantage of any of the igloos around town, we timed it perfectly, so we were able to see the sunset. And I would just strongly recommend. It's just a really nice way to get out, feel safe, and have a nice meal at Grandview. And that's it. Thanks, Randy.
Yeah, those are really cool. Thanks for sharing that. If you haven't seen those, check those out.
I've got a happy dollar. I don't know if anybody's fishing in the JC's tournament this weekend, but I'm going to plan to do some, you know, it's not going to be on hole in the day. We get to travel if we want to, go to our favorite spot, and we're going to fish up at Winnie up on the Third River. So I'm looking forward to that. It'll be a little bit different this year, the remote tournament.
Yeah, it's cool out there doing that. So that's pretty neat.
This is David Winkleman. I've got a happy dollar. Anybody watch Lakeland Public TV last night? Towards the end of the broadcast, they did a feature on my new business, Winkleman Solar. And boy, that really happened fast. He called me at 3:30 in the afternoon. He got out here by 4 and we had the piece done by 5, and he got it edited and put on line at 10 o'clock. So really amazing.
That's cool.
Nice.
Well, I suppose I better put in a happy dollar for being recognized for that. And Ray Gildoff, you're there, you should too. I pushed for our people to do that in business segment for years, and we finally started it a couple of years ago. And there's some really interesting stories because there's so many interesting businesses in our area. And they're all on our website too.
Yeah, that's cool. To check that out if you didn't see it.
Brett here. I've got a screen share if I can try this. So this
There you go.
disappeared. That's
Yep.
showing.
Coming up. There you go.
Flying parallel with a friend and looking forward to getting back to that kind of weather this summer. So
Very cool. Looks warm. You should click on top there, Brett. It should there should be a stop up on the top of your screen.
Oh. Sorry, I'm taking up everybody's.
That's okay. No problem. I'm glad people are sharing. So no problem. You can, it should be right at the top center. It should say stop sharing.
Stop sharing. Yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
There you go. Good job. It's not too scary. That's what, if you're ever wanting to do it or anything, anybody's ever wanting to give it a whirl, I'm sure we could also join a few minutes early so you can get the kinks out, but appreciate everybody sharing. Does anyone else have anything? All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good week.
Thanks, Sandy. All right. So next up is our presentation. I'd like to introduce Jenny Hill. She's the director of the Brainerd Public Library, and she's going to share with us today a little bit about the library. So Jenny, I'll just turn it right over to you.
Well, thank you, Jennifer. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm just very pleased to be speaking to all of you. I hope I impart some new information to you about the library, and I look forward to your questions. But before I get started, I just want to say thank you on behalf of the library staff and our library customers, because the Rotary has long given an annual donation to the Brainerd Public Library. We receive $500 from you, and that money is put towards new books in the categories of leadership, business, and then also classic literature. So, and with our discounts that we get, because we buy lots of books, that is roughly 30 to 40 new titles every year. And that just really adds a lot to what we're able to offer to our community. So a big thank you to your group. We very much appreciate it. And I'm going to start just by throwing a few numbers at you. So I mentioned the 30 to 40 books that come from your organization. In 2019, the Brainerd Public Library circulated almost 250,000 items. So people checked out 579,000 items, which I hope gives you an idea of the impact we have in the community. And just as a point of reference, in 2020, because we have had some time when the library was closed completely, some time when we were doing curbside, which is what we're doing now. You'll learn more about that in a moment. And some time we were open for just short browsing sessions. Our circuit course, like all our other businesses and organizations, is down dramatically this year. But we are setting our sights, or was down dramatically in 2020, and we are looking for that turnaround in 2021. So with that, I am going to start sharing my screen. All right, are you seeing my screen? Okay, excellent. Okay, so what's new and old at the Brainerd Public Library? And we are a Kichigami Regional Library. I'm going to spend just a few minutes telling you about that. So libraries, public libraries specifically, are wonders of cooperation. And we are very fortunate at the Brainerd Public Library to receive funding not only from the city of Brainerd, they support our building, and Crow Wing County, which contributes a significant amount of money to our annual budget. But we're also part of the Kichigami Regional Library System, and that organization supports all of our infrastructure. So our delivery, our technology. I am an employee of the Kichigami Regional Library System, so I have library colleagues and health insurance and all kinds of, again, that infrastructure based on being part of the Kichigami Regional Library System. The state of Minnesota has, I believe, 11 regional library systems, and that just allows federal money and state money to be doled out, if you will, to public libraries through a specific entity. And so, I'm guessing most of you are residents of Crow Wing, Cass, Wadena, Hubbard, or Beltrami counties, kind of in our region. You are all eligible for a Kichigami Regional Library card if you don't have one already. And one of our great new COVID services is you can apply for a card online at our KRLS, that's the acronym for our region's website. So as I mentioned, we are all about cooperation and sharing. So the map up here shows you our counties, and within those counties, we have 9 physical locations and a mobile library service. And so when you come into the Brainerd Library or you go onto our website, you can look for materials from all over the region, and all of those things can be sent to you or for you to pick up at the Brainerd Public Library at no charge to you. And we also can give you access to library materials from public and academic libraries all over Minnesota. So I mentioned currently we are doing curbside pickup here at the library. So that's a contact-free service for both our customers and our staff. And you can order your materials online or call the library staff and we'll help you over the phone, or you can email us. In the curbside appointments, you can pick up Mondays. Well, you can leave the hours here. But you know, we're trying to hit both morning and evening times and Saturdays for working families and people who, you know, I'm sure everybody's experienced the disruption of COVID, and so people's schedules are all over the map, and we do our best to accommodate getting you library materials when you're available. So that's kind of what's new. What's old, kind of within our the services of picking up and dropping off books, is our book drop. The good old slot by the front door of the building is open 24/7. You can return things at any time. And items you request somewhere else in the region or from somewhere else in the state get delivered to Brainerd 4 days a week. This is one of my favorite things of what's new, which is our Wi-Fi hotspot. And so we call that the ability to check out the internet. So through some CARES funding, our library region was able to purchase these hotspots. And for those of you who don't know, a hotspot is a small cellular device, so it's probably a little bigger than a cell phone. And speaking of cellular, it connects to a cellular phone tower and gives you a Wi-Fi connection just about anywhere. So throughout Crow Wing and kind of our extended region, there are dead spots, and a Wi-Fi hotspot that you check out from the library can give you an internet connection. You check it out, you have it for 4 weeks. It comes with everything you need. You just plug and play. So kind of what's old in tech is that we have Wi-Fi access available from the Brainerd Library parking lot 24/7, and there's no password needed for that Wi-Fi access, so you can just drop by anytime. I do see some regular customers out there in their cars using our Wi-Fi, and that's a great service we're happy to provide. So back to what's new, this is a service called Hoopla. So the hoopla about Hoopla is that it's a digital service, meaning you can check out ebooks that you would read on a tablet or a smartphone, or e-audiobooks that you would listen to through one of those devices, or if your phone plugs into your car stereo, you could have your audiobook broadcast over your car stereo. The service also provides streaming videos, so documentaries, TV series, and movies, and streaming music. So all of these are available online. What you do is you register with the Hoopla service, you install the app on your device, and the very first time you register, you type in your library card number, and you are good to start using it. So that's really opened up our digital offerings. What's old, meaning we've had these other services for several years now, is the cloud library. Some of you may be familiar with that for ebooks and e-audiobooks, and Flipster for magazines. So if you don't, if you wind up waiting in your car, as we do these days at the dentist's office instead of getting to go into the lobby, and you have Flipster, you can have the latest issue of People right there on your phone or tablet and be browsing through that while you're waiting for your appointment. Again, both of these are apps that you would download to your device and then have access to through your library card. So what's old in terms of just getting you good old library materials is access to our catalog. So anybody with an internet connection can go online and find our catalog and look up books and look up DVDs, look up what we have available, physical items that you would then be able to check out from our library. And I mentioned the statewide service, that's through an organization called MinLink. And so that's another website you would access online. Do your searching, type in your library card number, and within a matter of days, assuming the item was available somewhere in Minnesota, it would get sent to the Brainerd Library for you. So now I'm going to switch gears a little bit and talk about programs at the Brainerd Public Library. So first of all, I'm very excited. Coming up this Thursday, January 28th at 6:30, we have a program that's going to be happening on Zoom called Name That Town, and it's with the Minnesota photographer, historian, and storyteller Doug Oman. So it's going to be kind of a trivia game, if you will, of Minnesota towns. And that has come to us, again, through the Kitchigami Regional Library System and the Legacy funding. Some of you may be familiar with the Legacy Amendment. So that's a program that's going to be offered region-wide. So I have some details on it here. I'm going to put up my information at the end of the presentation, and people can get in touch with me to get links or to learn how to sign up for some of these things we're talking about today. So that's coming up on Thursday. Once a month, the second Tuesday of every month, we are partnered with the Crow Wing County Master Gardeners who give a presentation. They're doing that on Zoom these days as well. And so coming up, the language of flowers with Jennifer Knudsen, and that's about an hour-long presentation. It happens at noon. They have had tremendous response for these. They average between 110 to 150 attendees to these programs. And these Master Gardeners are people, like I said, they're from Crow Wing County. They're out working the same soil that all of us have. So if you want to up your gardening game, this is a great group to get connected with. So now I'm going to go through some programs specifically for readers at the Brainerd Public Library. One of our newest and kind of short term, it's going to be running January and February promotions is called Book Buddies, and we're encouraging children mostly, but adults are welcome to send in photos too, but kind of the get caught reading idea, having kids send in pictures of them reading with their toys or their favorite real life animal or reading to each other. We're going to be posting these on Facebook with parents' permission, of course, and then as well, we're making a big window. The library building, we're very fortunate to have two kind of storefront windows. All of these photos that get submitted will be printed out there as well. And you can drive by and see who's reading. Also going on in January and February is our adult winter reading program, which is called Snow Time to Read. That's a region-wide program through the Kitchigami Regional Library System. And what you can do is sign up. There's an app on the Kitchigami Regional Library website, or you call us up, we will send you a good old list where you can fill in how many books you've read, keep track of the titles. And as you turn in book titles, you get entered for our weekly drawings, and we have prizes like water bottles, winter hats, gift certificates to local businesses, supported by our friends of the library, and just something to keep people reading in these long winter months. The Brainerd Book Club meets the second Wednesday of every month, and that's currently on Zoom as well. And so what you see with that is everybody, you can pick up a request the current month's book through the library, read the book ahead of time, and then join the Zoom discussion. And this is a very laid back and friendly group. And so I know I have dropped in occasionally and I have read some or not quite enough of the book, and people are very friendly. They will take your measure and decide whether they're going to give you the spoilers or not. But just a good way to kind of get a feel for a book club and see what it's all about. So our friends of the Brainerd Public Library support this particular event through their book club in a bag program. So what they've done is they purchased 10 new titles for us every year, and currently we have over 120 titles. So they've been added for a number of years. And each book club in a bag that you check out has 10 copies of the book, a reader's guide, and some questions. And so in non-COVID times, this was a popular thing for people to get together, but I know several book clubs who are going, like we're going today, through Zoom. Still check out the book club in a bag. They figure out how to distribute the books and then just have their gatherings online. So yes, another book club. Our friends of the library have a book club monthly called Books, Burgers, and Brews. And originally, or in non-COVID times, I would say, it meets at Prairie Bay the third Monday of every month. And the wonderful food people at Prairie Bay would create a menu based on the book. So like when they had Where the Crawdads Sing, which is set down south, they had Hush Puppies and I forget what kind of drink they had, but always theme related to the book. So they've moved online these days, and what they do now instead is share recipes. And in addition to having a great book discussion, you get to have some good food talk. So everyone, again, this is set up through a book club in a bag. So if you are interested in picking up the book Woman of Troublesome Creek, you just call the library, set up a curbside appointment, we'll get you a copy of the book, and then you will get the Zoom link to join the discussion on February 15th. Our friends of the Brainerd Public Library also sponsor the Brown Bag Authors. So the first Monday of every month during the winter months, and then every week, June and July, they bring in an author, often Minnesota-based, and they cover fiction, nonfiction. We've had a couple of poets, just a really wide spectrum of speakers. And these authors are usually, well, they're very generous with their time. Obviously, they spend an hour talking both about their writing process. They take questions, kind of depending on the topic of the book. You know, this person, Maya Dusenberry, will be giving some details about her medical research that went into this particular title, which was a Minnesota Book Award winner, by the way. So that's another event that's not on Zoom currently, but on Facebook Live. And so a lot of times when we say something's available through Facebook, we get a lot of raised hands and people wanting to say, you know, I don't do Facebook. When it's a Facebook Live event like this, all you have to do is Google the Friends of the Brainerd Public Library Facebook page. And then when the event is going, you just click on it like you would click on a YouTube video, and you're just watching it through their site. You don't have to be signed up for Facebook in order to see the book talk. Our friends of the library also have their annual, well, not annual, right now it's their ongoing book sale. And so they aren't doing it in person. They are set up at Westgate Mall, but you go to the Friends website and put in your order for the types of books you'd like. So things are still 50 cents a piece, which is a huge bargain. And these are books that have been donated by many, many people in the community, and then also books that have been withdrawn that we no longer are using in the library. So kind of definitely a huge variety of titles and authors and types of books. We're very fortunate that the Friends have gotten creative and moved their book sale online for the time being. They are looking forward to having an in-person sale again, as we're all looking forward to in-person things. But in the meantime, this is their wonderful solution. So I've done a lot of talking, and I'm happy to take your questions. I'm going to click through to one more slide because that's got Again, our phone number, and if you would like to receive our e-newsletter, which comes out monthly and highlights all of the events I walk through basically, and you would have links and information on how to sign up. So I'm going to stop sharing here.
Thanks, Jenny. This is Jennifer. I do have a question. So you talked about the hotspot that somebody can check out. Do you have just one of them? Do you have several of them?
Right, we have 7.
7.
Yes, and it's my understanding, I'm going to a meeting following this meeting with our regional library folks, and I believe there are more hotspots coming to us through the CARES funding. So they go out for 4 weeks. All of ours are currently checked out, but you can put a request in for them. So when someone's time is up over the next couple of days, if you're the next person in line, then you would get notified that your hotspot is ready.
Do you have a long waiting list for them?
We don't currently.
That's a great service. That's really exciting.
Yeah.
Other questions of Jenny?
I have a question. Any chance you'll be getting a subscription to Fold 3? It's kind of like an Ancestry type thing. I know you have Ancestry, but how about Fold 3?
You know what? That is not something I'm familiar with, and I'm glad I'm making a note. I will look into that. So it's a genealogy research platform.
Yes, for military.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let me look into that.
Other questions of Jenny? All right. Well, Jenny, thank you so much. This was really interesting. It's so great to hear what the Brainerd Public Library is doing. And I think we're really fortunate to have such a great library in our community. And I know I hear a lot of people who have been very happy with the curbside pickup and how you've been able to kind of modify services during this pandemic. So I know it's been greatly appreciated.
Well, good. Yes. Thank you. I'm just glad I got to share some information with all of you. Please don't hesitate to call me if you think of questions later, and take care, everybody.
Thanks, Jenny.
Thank you.
Is there anything else to come before Rotary? All right, well, seeing none, I will have a great rest of the week and we will see you next Tuesday.
Aye.